So for this project, we're going to be focusing on using our databases that we have. Now, one of the big things about databases is that our district actually pays for quite a few of them that are all really good ones. Some of them are specialized and only do certain work with certain subjects, and some of them are more general. So let's talk about a few things. So first thing is, no Google for this, at least to start off. I want you to get as much information from our databases as possible. When you go to Google, you are working with millions of different responses versus dealing with maybe thousands of responses, which I know that doesn't sound like a big difference, but when you're dealing with data, it is. Some of the differences between Google and databases is I want to remind you that Google's not always reliable. Not everything you find on the internet is. But databases, you know it's reliable. It came from a reliable source, newspapers, magazines, things that have been double checked and triple checked for making sure their content is good. Remember that Google is always trying to sell you stuff. A lot of times if you look something up, the first couple of websites are actually things trying to sell you something. If you look up Tesla, it won't give you information to start off with. It'll try to sell you a car. One thing about databases, though, is you actually have to be a member in order to look at them. And you actually already are. The school district and the state already pay for you all the way through high school. And then when you go to college, part of your college tuition actually will pay for a database login for you. With Google, there's no publication process. Anybody can create a website and put the information out there, true or not true. Yet a database actually goes through a publication process. Remember that on Google, because the web only has so much space, information can only be so old. It doesn't go back as far as we would like. Databases have stuff. I've actually found information from the 1800s, which is pretty cool. Google does cost nothing, and again, but the great thing about databases is you already are a member. The one thing that they have in common is that the fact that they are both web-based, which means you do need a computer to work with both. Now, how do you log into our databases? Where we actually have one place that you go to, and many of you have already used this with social studies because of Culturegrams and Maps 101. So what you can do is you go to macinvia.com and you make sure and populate your Trent Middle School. It's going to ask you your school. Then you're going to populate to your 6-digit user ID and your 8-digit birthday. So that's kind of how that works. Just make sure it's all there. Now, once you log in, this is what it'll look like. It'll actually come up with more than this. It won't say Clark Middle School. It'll actually say Trent. But what I want you to do is I want you to click on Groups. Once you click on Groups, it's going to ask you it's going to give you a couple of different listings. We're actually going to use 6th grade study skills. The reason I'm going to use that is because it's very basic. It's the ones that I would use anyway. It's the ones that I suggest to 6th graders on a regular basis. So that's the one we're going to work with. And then this is what it will look like. By using this, these are the 5 that I suggest. I would always start with Britannica School. In any topic, this is basically your encyclopedia, so it has a little bit of information about almost every topic out there. And so when you go there, I'm actually going to pull it up for you guys. Once I open this up, it's actually going to give me everything I need to know. Let me go ahead and log in. I go to Groups, and then I go to that Study Skills and Britannica. And it's actually going to give me a little bit of everything. So let's say that I go to Biographies and I want to do this person. It's going to give me a little bit of information about all the things I need. It's not going to give me a ton, not going to necessarily answer every single question, but it will start there. And you can work your way through it. I always say start here and then just work your way down and see what you can find to answer your questions. In the next video, you will find out how to create a works cited page.